The world of Dragon Ball was once again on the brink of chaos, as the balance of power shifted in ways no one could have anticipated. 5 years had passed since the last major battle, and the Z fighters had enjoyed a rare period of peace. However, peace was never meant to last in a universe where strength and ambition constantly clashed. Goku, now in his late 30s, had been training diligently in the other world, pushing his limits to new heights. His son, Gohan, had taken a step back from fighting to focus on his studies and family life, while Goten and Trunks, now teenagers, had grown stronger but remained playful and carefree. The fusion of Goten and Trunks, known as Gotenks, had become a formidable force, but their overconfidence often led to trouble. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test the limits of their abilities and resolve. The story began on a quiet afternoon at Capsule Corporation, where Bulma was tinkering with a new invention. Goten and Trunks, bored and restless, decided to spar in the gravity chamber to pass the time. Their playful banter echoed through the halls as they powered up, their auras flaring with golden energy. Gotenks emerged from their fusion dance, his signature cocky grin plastered across his face. "Alright, let's see what you've got, Trunks." Gotenks taunted, his voice dripping with confidence. The two began their sparring match, their movements a blur of speed and power. Gotenks launched a flurry of punches and kicks, each strike accompanied by a burst of energy that shook the chamber. Trunks countered with a well-timed energy blast, forcing Gotenks to dodge and retaliate with a spinning kick. The battle was intense, but it was clear that Gotenks held the upper hand, his fusion granting him a level of power that surpassed his individual forms. Meanwhile, Goku had returned to Earth, sensing a disturbance in the energy levels of the planet. He arrived at Capsule Corporation just as Gotenks was about to unleash a devastating attack. "Hey, guys! What's going on here?" Goku called out, his voice filled with curiosity and concern. Gotenks turned to face him, his grin widening. "Oh, hey, Goku. Just showing Trunks who's boss. Wanna join in?" Goku chuckled, scratching the back of his head. "Well, I haven't fought in a while, but I guess a little sparring wouldn't hurt." The gravity chamber was reset, and Goku stepped into the ring, his calm demeanor belying the immense power he held within. The sparring match began with a flurry of punches and kicks, Goku testing Gotenks' reflexes and speed. Gotenks, confident in his abilities, launched a series of rapid attacks, each one aimed at overwhelming Goku. However, Goku's experience and training allowed him to counter with precision, his movements fluid and calculated. "Not bad, Gotenks, but you'll have to do better than that," Goku teased, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Gotenks smirked, powering up to his base form. "Alright, old man, let's see how you handle this." He charged at Goku, his fists glowing with energy. The two clashed in a burst of light, their auras colliding and sending shockwaves through the chamber. As the battle intensified, Goku decided to test Gotenks' limits by transforming into a Super Saiyan. His golden aura erupted around him, his hair spiking up and his eyes turning a piercing blue. "Let's see how you handle this, Gotenks," Goku declared, his voice filled with determination. Gotenks, undeterred, powered up as well, his own golden aura flaring to life. The two Super Saiyans clashed again, their attacks growing more powerful with each passing moment. Goku launched a series of energy blasts, each one aimed at overwhelming Gotenks. However, Gotenks countered with a well-timed energy shield, deflecting the attacks and retaliating with a powerful kick that sent Goku flying across the chamber. Goku quickly recovered, his grin widening as he realized the true extent of Gotenks' power. "You've gotten stronger, Gotenks, but let's see how you handle this," Goku declared, his voice filled with excitement. He charged at Gotenks, his fists glowing with energy. The two clashed again, their attacks growing more intense with each passing moment. Goku's experience and training allowed him to counter Gotenks' attacks with precision, his movements fluid and calculated. However, Gotenks' fusion granted him a level of power that surpassed Goku's individual form, and it was clear that the battle was far from over. As the sparring match continued, it became clear that Goku would need to tap into his full power to defeat Gotenks. With a determined look in his eyes, Goku began to power up, his aura growing more intense with each passing moment. "Alright, Gotenks, let's see how you handle this," Goku declared, his voice filled with determination. He transformed into a Super Saiyan, his golden aura erupting around him. Gotenks, undeterred, powered up as well, his own golden aura flaring to life. The two Super Saiyans clashed again, their attacks growing more powerful with each passing moment. The battle reached its climax as Goku and Gotenks unleashed their most powerful attacks. Goku launched a massive Kamehameha wave, the energy beam surging towards Gotenks with incredible force. Gotenks countered with a galactic donut, the energy ring encircling Goku and constricting him. However, Goku's determination and strength allowed him to break free, his aura flaring with even greater intensity. "You're strong, Gotenks, but I'm not done yet," Goku declared, his voice filled with resolve. He charged at Gotenks, his fists glowing with energy. The two clashed in a final, explosive burst of light, their auras colliding and sending shockwaves through the chamber. As the dust settled, it was clear that Goku had emerged victorious, his strength and experience proving too much for Gotenks to handle. However, the battle had revealed the true potential of both fighters, and it was clear that their journey was far from over. The stage was set for even greater challenges, as the Z fighters prepared to face whatever threats lay ahead. The world of Dragon Ball was once again on the brink of chaos, and the battle for supremacy had only just begun. The battlefield crackled with energy as Goku, now transformed into a Super Saiyan for the first time in 5 years, faced off against Gotenks in his base form. The air was thick with tension, the ground trembling beneath their feet as their auras clashed, sending shockwaves rippling across the landscape. Goku's golden hair shimmered in the sunlight, his eyes sharp and focused, while Gotenks smirked, his confidence unshaken despite the sudden surge in Goku's power. "You've gotten stronger, old man," Gotenks taunted, cracking his knuckles. "But I'm still gonna wipe the floor with you." Goku didn't respond with words. Instead, he launched forward, his movements a blur of speed and precision. His fist collided with Gotenks' crossed arms, the impact sending a deafening boom across the battlefield. Gotenks skidded backward, his feet digging trenches into the ground, but he quickly recovered, countering with a spinning kick aimed at Goku's head. Goku ducked under the attack, his reflexes honed from years of battle, and retaliated with a rapid series of punches to Gotenks' midsection. Each strike landed with bone-rattling force, but Gotenks absorbed the blows, his Saiyan resilience keeping him on his feet. The fight escalated as Gotenks unleashed a flurry of energy blasts, each one aimed to overwhelm Goku. Goku weaved through the barrage with acrobatic grace, his movements fluid and unpredictable. He deflected one blast with a swift palm strike, sending it spiraling into the sky, and dodged another with a mid-air flip. As he landed, Goku charged a Kamehameha wave, the blue energy swirling around his hands. Gotenks, recognizing the threat, dashed forward to interrupt, but Goku feinted, canceling the attack and delivering a powerful roundhouse kick to Gotenks' side. The younger fighter grunted, the force of the blow sending him skidding across the ground. Gotenks, however, wasn't one to stay down for long. With a roar, he pushed himself to his feet, his aura flaring as he tapped into his latent potential. "You're not the only one who can adapt, Goku," he shouted, his power surging. The ground beneath him cracked as he launched himself into the air, his fists glowing with energy. Goku met him head-on, their fists colliding in a blinding explosion of light. The shockwave from their clash tore through the surrounding area, uprooting trees and sending debris flying in all directions. As the dust settled, both fighters stood their ground, their breathing heavy but their determination unwavering. Goku's Super Saiyan aura burned brighter, his body pushing past its limits as he prepared for the next phase of the battle. Gotenks, sensing the shift in momentum, decided to up the ante. "You think Super Saiyan is enough? Let's see how you handle this," he declared, his body glowing as he began to transform. His hair spiked upward, turning golden, and his aura exploded with newfound intensity. Super Saiyan Gotenks had entered the fray. The battlefield became a whirlwind of motion as the two Super Saiyans clashed. Their fists and feet moved faster than the eye could follow, each strike creating shockwaves that rippled through the air. Goku, despite his experience, found himself on the defensive as Gotenks' speed and power increased exponentially. Gotenks pressed the attack, his movements a chaotic mix of brute force and unpredictable tactics. He feinted a punch, only to spin around and deliver a devastating elbow strike to Goku's shoulder. Goku staggered but quickly recovered, countering with a spinning back fist that caught Gotenks off guard. The fight became a test of endurance and strategy. Goku, realizing that brute force alone wouldn't be enough, began to analyze Gotenks' movements. He noticed a slight delay in Gotenks' transitions between attacks, a vulnerability born from his overconfidence. Goku exploited this, timing his counters perfectly to disrupt Gotenks' rhythm. He ducked under a wild haymaker and delivered a precise uppercut to Gotenks' chin, sending him soaring into the air. Gotenks, however, wasn't done. As he flipped midair to regain his balance, he charged a massive energy attack, his hands glowing with a swirling vortex of power. "Eat this, Goku. Galactic Donut," he shouted, hurling the energy ring toward his opponent. Goku's eyes widened as the attack closed in, its speed and size making it nearly impossible to dodge. Thinking quickly, he channeled his energy into his hands and performed a solar flare, the blinding light momentarily disorienting Gotenks. In that split second, Goku teleported behind his opponent, delivering a powerful kick to his back that sent him crashing into the ground. The impact created a massive crater, but Gotenks emerged from the dust, his grin still intact. "Not bad, old man," he admitted, wiping a trickle of blood from his lip. "But I'm just getting started." With a roar, he unleashed his full power, his aura expanding to engulf the battlefield. Goku, sensing the danger, knew he had to push himself further. He closed his eyes, focusing his energy as he prepared to ascend beyond Super Saiyan. His muscles bulged, his aura intensifying as he reached a new level of power. The final phase of the battle was a spectacle of raw power and determination. Goku and Gotenks traded blows at blinding speeds, their movements creating shockwaves that shook the very earth. Goku's newfound strength allowed him to match Gotenks blow for blow, but the younger fighter's creativity kept him on his toes. Gotenks conjured energy constructs mid-fight, using them to trap and disorient Goku, but Goku's adaptability allowed him to break free each time. As the fight reached its climax, both fighters were battered and bruised, their bodies pushed to the brink. Goku, realizing that the battle couldn't continue indefinitely, decided to end it with one final, decisive move. He charged a massive Kamehameha wave, the energy swirling around him like a storm. Gotenks, recognizing the attack, prepared his own finishing move, a Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. The two fighters unleashed their attacks simultaneously, the collision of energy creating a blinding explosion that lit up the sky. When the dust settled, Goku stood victorious, his body trembling from exhaustion. Gotenks, though defeated, grinned as he lay on the ground. "You're still the best, Goku," he admitted, his voice filled with respect. Goku extended a hand, helping Gotenks to his feet. "You've got a lot of potential, kid," Goku said with a smile. "Keep pushing your limits, and you'll surpass me one day." The two fighters shared a moment of mutual respect, their bond as Saiyans and family stronger than ever. The battle had pushed them both to new heights, and as they walked away from the battlefield, they knew that their journey to become stronger was far from over. The final battle between Goku and Gotenks reached its climax as the two warriors clashed in a storm of energy and raw power. The skies above the battlefield crackled with lightning, the ground trembling beneath their feet as their fists collided in a deafening explosion of force. Goku, now transformed into a Super Saiyan, radiated an aura of golden light, his eyes sharp and focused. Across from him, Gotenks stood in his base form, his cocky grin still plastered on his face, though a flicker of doubt began to creep into his expression. The two had been fighting for what felt like hours, each pushing the other to their absolute limits, but now the stakes were higher than ever. This was no longer just a test of strength, it was a battle of wills, a fight to prove who had truly mastered their potential. Goku launched himself forward, his movements a blur as he closed the distance between them in an instant. His fist shot out, aiming for Gotenks' midsection, but the fusion warrior twisted his body at the last second, narrowly avoiding the blow. Gotenks retaliated with a spinning kick, his foot slamming into Goku's side with enough force to send him skidding backward. Goku gritted his teeth, the pain flaring through his body, but he refused to let it slow him down. He had been waiting for this moment for 5 long years, and he wasn't about to let it slip away. With a roar, he surged forward again, his fists a flurry of motion as he unleashed a barrage of punches and kicks, each strike faster and more powerful than the last. Gotenks struggled to keep up, his movements growing sloppier as fatigue began to set in. He had underestimated Goku's determination, and now he was paying the price. But even as his body screamed in protest, he refused to back down. This was his chance to prove himself, to show that he was more than just a cocky kid with a big mouth. He clenched his fists, his aura flaring as he channeled every ounce of energy he had left. With a shout, he launched himself at Goku, the two warriors colliding in a blinding explosion of light and energy. The shockwave from their clash rippled across the battlefield, sending debris flying in every direction. For a moment, it seemed as though the two were evenly matched, their powers canceling each other out. But then, slowly but surely, Goku began to gain the upper hand. His punches grew sharper, his movements more precise, as he tapped into the depths of his Super Saiyan power. Gotenks, on the other hand, was starting to falter. His attacks became slower, his defenses weaker, as the strain of the battle took its toll. He tried to summon more energy, to push himself beyond his limits, but it was no use. Goku was simply too strong. Realizing that he was on the verge of defeat, Gotenks made one last desperate move. He leapt into the air, his hands glowing with energy as he prepared to unleash his ultimate attack. "Galactic Donut," he shouted, creating a ring of energy that shot toward Goku. The attack was fast and unpredictable, but Goku was ready. With a swift motion, he dodged the ring, his eyes narrowing as he focused on Gotenks. He knew that this was his chance to end the battle once and for all. Goku raised his hand, a sphere of energy forming in his palm as he charged up his signature attack. Kamehameha, he roared, unleashing a massive beam of energy that tore through the air toward Gotenks. The fusion warrior tried to dodge, but he was too slow. The beam struck him head-on, engulfing him in a blinding explosion of light. When the smoke cleared, Gotenks was lying on the ground, his body battered and bruised, his energy completely drained. Goku landed beside him, his golden aura fading as he reverted to his base form. He knelt down, placing a hand on Gotenks' shoulder. "You fought well," he said, his voice filled with respect. "But you still have a lot to learn. Don't let this defeat discourage you. Use it as motivation to get stronger." Gotenks looked up at Goku, his usual bravado replaced by a look of determination. "I will," he said, his voice steady despite his exhaustion. "Next time, I'll be the one standing tall." As the two warriors helped each other to their feet, the battlefield began to settle. The storm clouds above dissipated, revealing a clear blue sky. The other Z fighters, who had been watching the battle from a safe distance, approached, their faces filled with awe and admiration. They had witnessed something truly extraordinary, a battle that had pushed both Goku and Gotenks to their absolute limits, and in doing so, had revealed the true extent of their potential. In the aftermath of the battle, the dynamics of the universe began to shift. Goku's return and his newfound strength sent ripples across the cosmos, reminding everyone of the power of the Saiyan race. Gotenks, humbled by his defeat, dedicated himself to training harder than ever, determined to live up to the legacy of his father and uncle. The bond between the Z fighters grew stronger, their shared experiences forging an unbreakable connection. As for Goku, he knew that this was just the beginning. There were still countless challenges ahead, and he was ready to face them head-on. He had proven to himself and to everyone else that he was still the strongest warrior in the universe, but he also knew that there was always room to grow. With a smile on his face and a fire in his heart, he looked toward the horizon, ready for whatever the future held. The battle had ended, but the journey was far from over. And as the sun set on the battlefield, casting a golden glow over the world, one thing was clear: the legacy of the Saiyans would continue to shine brightly, lighting the way for generations to come.